Hi everyone, we are live and I'm going first to check if I am audible and live on YouTube and on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for bearing with me. How are you feeling, my friends? This is a special session. So I am audible on YouTube. Yes, I am audible on YouTube. Am I audible on LinkedIn? Let me check right now if I am audible in LinkedIn. We are audible in. And I'm going also to share the link to go on stage. If you are on YouTube, go to Linktree/French Holly. If you are on LinkedIn, there is the Linktree/French Holly with which will be able you to join the stage. Here is also the link to the stage. And if you cannot find a way, feel free to DM me, to contact me. I will try to be aware that you are trying to reach me. So first and foremost, the first 12 minutes, 12, 13 minutes video will be a share of a video of someone who sadly I heard that passed away today. I heard today passed away. I don't know when she passed away, but I heard the news today. And so, if you are watching me on live on the replay, feel free to bear with me for 12 minutes. It's also to pay tribute to my friend Sebi. And then after 12, 13 minutes, we will be back and I will share to you some words in French. But for me, it's really a moment of sadness, but I am vulnerable to show to you Zebi and how she impacted me. And I will also give you some French words so that you will learn something in French or other languages, by the way, because it's about language. So whether you are on live on the replay, bear with me. I'm going to share my screen and to share the video I was filming last year when I was at Zebi's place. The sound is shared. I'm just getting to be sure that the video is playing perfectly. Normally, yes. If you are hearing an echo at the start, I apologize. It will be corrected. So, Zebi, first, thank you so much for your presence and your energy. It's a blessing.
Oh, you're welcome. Some people, it's easy to share with them because they give so much. And I believe in giving people flowers while they're here. Like it's kind to each other and reminding each other of your values. Now, I have got into bespoking creams and treatments with people, and I didn't even realize I had that skill. And I call it Zebi Zeal for various reasons, because I had a zeal to do it. And Zebi is actually my Rasta name. And some of the community know me by that, but my name on my birth certificate is Sancho, that was name. And Zebi Zeal the cream started after a demand from people. And I think initially it might have been from my daughter losing her hair 3 times, damage from hair products, and it was kind of ironic considering how I'm viewed in the community. I even used to have health workshops from inception to end of life because we were having so many people passing away in our community around my age, especially the men. And so starts out, I have a cousin, the only family I really know, Jamaica, and she travels the world, does healing. She studied community health and social work, and I studied child protection, safeguarding. Totally coincidence. We met as adults. I wasn't allowed to meet her as a child. I had somewhere she was visiting, and one thing, I was being hidden, which I didn't know, and also they looked down on her. A Rasta woman, didn't value the things she did, and now she's famous around the world, writes books. They can't get enough of her. Coincidentally, I managed to find her as an adult, and she actually knows my network. She's grown parallel to me, which I didn't know. But anyway, one day she sat down with me and explained how one creates a treatment for someone. And she said, you simply look at their needs, research it, whatever. Make sure you know something about the person. That's very important. And then you just look for things that have the properties. And it sounded so simple. I think she was rushing to get to the airport, and she spent about 20 minutes with me. I made some notes. And I think when I saw her the following year, she said she was so impressed with the cream that I'd made. And my daughter lost her hair, and I made cream 3 times, which grew it back. And people were saying to her, oh my God, how did your hair grow back? And it developed from there to skin, to complaints, to whatever. I try and get the properties as much as possible from source. And some of what I call the magic, because I say it's gifts from the universe, gifts from the gods, which heals and feeds nations. And because people said it's for black people or white, I say it's for everyone. And you just bespoke it according to the person's need, whether it's for their hair, their skin, or particular ailments. And it's almost become like a little community. And I was even looking at the thing of being in distress, the trauma of not being healed. It's almost an illness in itself. So I've had people cry to me and said maybe a child with extreme eczema, they haven't slept for 2 years, and the peace that it brought. And also there's times in my life where I didn't live in a place that had the things that I required for my day-to-day health, like just my skin and my hair. And a child doesn't look, they don't look like how they're supposed to look. So even in terms of safeguarding and finding children, sometimes in remote areas, in that awful state, I had also been that child, because they have this term that your hair is unmanageable or whatever. I mean, what does that mean? And whose beauty standards do we kind of live by? But each time someone comes to me for something, it teaches me something, feedback. So I've made things. I've got one that I make for pregnant women for their scars and marks, and I call that Yummy Mummy. Some of the properties and precious oils I get is where my cousin gets on her travels, where she goes into Africa each year and does research, and often has used them on herself. And so sometimes she decides where she's going according to what we might need. So for example, a few years ago she was going into Burkina, and she said, there's going to be a war, and what would be the most precious thing? And she said, their sherbet at that time is more precious than gold. So, and then I think a couple of years later, I personally bought back a batch of shea butter from Ghana, and even Ghanaians and Nigerians saying, where did you get this? It's so beautiful. So it was a base that I'd used. And in Burkina, when my cousin went, she injured herself on a journey going to meet their ancestors. And it's a place that was so remote, they didn't know their flag had changed 30 years before. And when they asked where she was from, they said Jamaica. They'd never heard of it. So she's such a heroine to me that, every year, and on her own, and as a female, which is just fearless. And then some of the journeys that she takes, she goes and gets artifacts and maybe things made up, mostly for artists, because she's also a journalist, a musical journalist, whatever. So her journey in terms of obtaining things, for example, we might ask for an outfit, and if she can't find the exact shade, she'll go and get it woven and then coloured. And then once she travelled 30 miles in another direction just for the embroidery because of the skills she's trying. But even her stories along the way, on one of these trips she injured herself, and there's these two plants that she used, and she messaged me saying, oh, she needs to research this, the properties of them. And both of them happen to have antibiotic, antifungal and antiseptic properties. And she said they can heal like in a few days. And some neighbours, in fact the first girl that tried it, I think it was a white neighbour, and one of my sons had an awful scar on his face. And a friend, an elder in his 70s, had to change his passport. She said, Sister Zebby, you made me a cream, and the mark he'd had on his face all his life disappeared within 2 days. And I have some things, a scar I've had from getting run over as a child for 50 years, it disappeared. So I can actually dictate different things. So I have quite a few women who want it because they don't have to wear makeup. A lot of men for psoriasis, acne, eczema, and I can put in aromas that people want themselves. But most of the aromas, like there's some people who've never been able to have an aroma because of the difficult allergies they have. My cousin taught me things about thousand flowers and orange blossom. Though they smell nice, they're not dangerous. They're potent, gentle healing properties. So, and there's other people who just want to create something they like. It's all natural products, and as much as possible, I get straight from source. So, I can get the shea butter from cooperative. It's pure, it's clean. Most of the money, goes back to source. And His Majesty Russ Price says these things, Africa awaits its creators. So, so that people can be valued for their skills, and the money isn't shut up in kind of other places. So anyway, that's how it actually came about. So I've done things with babies, and then I started to do like gift packs. I've done a grandparent gift pack that had all sorts of things in it, even books and soaps and candles and different. Sometimes I've made something and I've got feedback that it treated something else. An elder I know that's helped me for 8 years at Emancipation Day, he has some grandchildren in Scotland that he rarely sees. And he sent me a picture one day of the young girl's head. Her skull was weeping. Age about 2 years old. And I made something and I posted it. And he said he had some lovely feedback. He said the father had, don't know how he got it, he said he had ringworm. And I had to laugh because I hadn't heard of it for years, because when my children was small, it was like a round mark and it's contagious. And it's like getting head lice in school or something, that kind of thing. But he said it healed the ringworm. But I'd used some of the same antibiotic properties in it for the problem in her scalp, but it worked on it. And then someone else said it healed, they'd had veins removed 30 odd years ago. They could afford that kind of treatment, but they had suddenly appeared again. And I had gifted her some cream, and she said that the marks have been removed. So I really enjoy it. That's how it came about. So there's quite a few different things. I'm thinking of it expanding. For example, I think it's very useful to wash with it, and use certain oils. So I also, like I said, I take orders. I'll ask people, what kind of aroma do you like? Sometimes they ask me to find them something. So, and the oil man that I get the ooze from, it's a man my cousin introduced me to, because you must always get the best product. I have never really liked shea butter. To me, it used to have an unpleasant smell, and I realised because most of it that you see, it's stale. It's old. And good shea butter that's looked after properly takes quite a while to go off. Because I've even got some samples I've had over a couple of years to see how they behave and how they smell and whatever. But And I have a kind of a thing where I had a thing where I used to recycle the tubs, and usually I'd maybe make a card for someone I might have messaged in it. Something happened recently. A friend asked me to give things to some friends, and I just know something about them. Make a package. I know something about their color or their place of origin or something. And reflect it in the card or something. And one more, someone was going through something. I think she was on long-term leave from work, sick leave. And on the back of the card, I think I'd put reddish mind, body, soul, and spirit. Embrace the earth because it feeds and heals nations. Something like that. Recycled from JBC. And I always date. I put the cream on. And the person made a video of them opening the package. And that very morning, they'd written on a card exactly what I'd written in the card that I sent them. The writing and even the layout was exactly the same. And she said she's just wrote this morning, embrace mind, body, spirit. So, and they get that. So I always feel very quite connected to it, and an excitement when someone gets their cream, because usually sometimes it's something that they need. A lot of at the moment I'm getting a few orders, and I've realised it's a cluster. It's people I gave like a few months ago. They all seem to run out at the same time. And a lot of the men, what they do, they send me videos of them scraping out the jar. And I said, listen, you need to tell me before it finishes. So I actually have to. I'm sitting here. I think it was the first time they've had a moment to sit down. I said, no, I need to set some base on the cream. So really, ZBZ is really what others have made it. And yeah, because we have a lot of trauma, is it, as a people, as a nation, kind of globally, and our healing is almost around us, isn't it? They say in the abundance of water, the food is thirsty. Most of all these things that I use in those products, they're all from the earth. And you know, I think every single one of them, I believe, apart from some of the ouds, they're edible. And they heal inside. One of the oils from Burkina, it's good. Anything to do with the bowels. So we gave it to about 3-4 elders I'm close to in their 80s and 90s. My cousin come back. So everything is a beautiful journey, and that's why we must look after the earth.
Yeah, exactly. And what we forget also is that the body, the skin in itself is an organ.
The skin is our largest organ, which I remind people we don't think of it as an organ. The skin is our largest organ.
Thank you so much for your share, Zebi, and keep shining.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm going to stop the share right now. So this was the 25th October of last year. I will still talk about Zebi few minutes, and then I'm going to begin this session. So thank you so much, Mr. J. And of course, you can also join the stage. You can access the streaming link through linktree/FrenchHolly, or access it there. But of course, it's not easy to copy paste the text. So you can go also to Linktree, like linktr.ee/FrenchHolly, and you will be able to join the stage. I also posted the link to join the stage on LinkedIn. So now I'm just going to check I am audible on LinkedIn. Thank you, Jay, Mr. Jay, for joining. It's really warming my heart to see people live, and also on the replay team, feel free to leave a comment. So as I am a language igniter, I am also going to give some translation, I don't know if I would be able to, yeah. So you will not see my video properly because there are lots of text, but going to modify it because it's not really clear like that. So that there is some arrangement. Bear with me. I am live. This isn't perfect, but I'm really happy to make it anyway so that you can have a translation. Okay, I am done. So here is the updated text here. And feel free to comment or to comment on YouTube, LinkedIn, live, or on the replay time. Ask me any question because it's also the LAMA, not the dromedary, but of the crescent of the dromedary, but literally ask me anything because I want to be of service. And at the same time, this is a special session because I had this morning, I have received a message that Zebi, my friend Zebi, passed away. I don't know when exactly, but probably days or 1 or 2 weeks ago. I don't know when exactly, but I received this message this morning, and I pray rest in peace, rest in power. She impacted me, so that's why I was wanting to share for the first 12 minutes the video I made on the 25th October of last year when I was in UK, London for the 3-day workshop of Amanda in Faversham. I was blessed to be in London for 6 days also and to be hosted by Zebi also. So the story, histoire in French, is that I've met this common friend 4 years ago through a community. And then she was aware about my skin issues and she helped me to connect with Zebi 2 years ago, I think. And she began by sending me a sample of cream to see if it's working, and it was working. And she sent me some samples, and I'm really blessed about that. And then last year in March 2024, I was in my second conference year, neuro language conference in Barcelona, and I had some stress, I think, or eczema issues at that time, and Kevin can attest. Kevin Moreau, I was really like, wow, and I was having rashes, like scratching my skin, and really it was inflated, and really it was not really good for you. I see you still have a lot of eczema, but I put cream from her, by the way. But last year in March, I was really in a bad situation, and they were aware about that. And they arranged a surprise visit. Like, I was not aware, my friends. Let me check if I'm audible. Yeah, I was not aware, my friend. My friends, I was going by bus from Barcelona to Brussels. And as soon as I was getting out of the bus, my friend was there. My friend Zebi came specially from London with a lot of creams. It was like, wow. It was really incredible. And it was God sent. It was truly God sent. And then we were talking a few hours, and then she came back the same day with the train to London, back to London. That was last year in March. And I am very, very grateful. Grateful is a small word. Grateful, blessed is a small word to express how blessed and how grateful I feel, and I will always feel towards Zebi and her creams. And then, so it was last year, and last year in October, I decided to go to this 3D workshop event in Faversham with Amanda, and I was getting to London. And as Zebi was living in London, I was really blessed to be hosted in Zebi's space, Zebi's house, and discovering her life, her family, her culture, discovering also the neighbors that she was living in. And there was also a thing that she wanted me to discover, and I said yes. And it was the visit, and it was really amazing because it was on a Sunday. It was open. The museum of Black archive history, the history of the Black community arriving in UK, in London. And yeah, and so last year I was having amazing 6 days with Zabi. And so I still have our cream, and I still have creams for probably 2 years or more. It's just to say how the quantity she gave to me, probably 3 to 4 kilos minimum, I think. And was like, wow. And it's really important. So the video is, for me, a way to pay tribute to her. I was also connecting to some people in UK, saying, hey, feel free to connect with Zebi. Here is her email address, and blah, blah, blah. Because she was not really present in the social media. As far as I know, I'm not so much famous in Instagram, TikTok, whatever, but she was not on LinkedIn. She was not on, but it's really, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because, but there is me being sad, and there is God's plan, and it was her time to leave this earth, this planet. And at the same time, I feel sad because of regrets. I was probably not enough checking in on her. I think last time it was on March or April, I don't know. But time flies, and it reminds me also about Nancy, that I was also meeting last year at the same period with Amanda workshop. Letting me also aware about Jess, about Odile, about so many people in my life, and sadly that passed away and spread their wings. So now it's already the 28 minutes, and I'm aware about our time. So let me know if you have any question, if you have any comment, any remark. Feel free also to join the stage and also to share on the replay team. I don't see any comments right now. Thank you again, Jay, for checking in. And you can also join the stage. There is a link on the stage. So it's like studio.restream.io/ETU-WLPN-BMV. But there is also the link you can access through my comments in LinkedIn, and also through Linktree/FrenchRally, the famous link that I'm going to show you again here right now. So feel free to join the stage and to have a conversation with me. This is a special long session of 45-50 minutes minimum. And I'm going to pour some words in French. First, the first word I would like to share was also about the video, like zeal, Zebi zeal. Zeal in French is zèle. And there is the accent because L, so the E with the accent is zèle, because without the accent it would be zol, I think. So zèle. And of course the E is silent, so you don't pronounce the E in French. at some exceptions, but it really. And then skin is po. P-E-A-U, po. It's like a Kung Fu Panda, po. So po is and as she stated in the video, I stated in the video, she confirmed the skin is the most important and voluminous organ. So because it covers all our being, all our body, it's the natural barrier. The skin is an organ in itself, and there is so much things to learn about the skin. Because without the skin, we wouldn't be alive. I'm pretty sure. It's peau in French. And then edible is in French consommable. Could be also mangeable, consommable. It's consumable. The equivalent for the water for drink is potable. See here, edible, consommable, and that means truly a lot, because I don't know any industrial cream that could be eaten. Of course, I don't advise to eat cream, but if it's edible, it means that it's good for the skin by essence. Because if it's edible and your body can digest it and process it, then you can put it on your skin. And I truly believe that there are many industrial cosmetics and also food that is not truly edible, because the body is considering it as a toxin, or is disrupted by the excess or the property of the kind of things that you are eating. And of course, it's also about the excess, of course, because chocolate is amazing if you eat like 5 or 10 or 15 grams of chocolate. But if you are eating at once 2 or 3 kilos of chocolate, let's pray for your liver and for your whole system body, because it's not really advisable. So edible, consommable. And then ancestors, ancêtres. And what I like is that there is the circumflex accent. I think it's called the caret, but I'm not sure. It's the little hat on top of the letter. And as I tell most of the time, especially on top of the E, it means that etymologically, historically, in Old French, there was not an accent, but there was an S. And the reason is that in Latin or in English, you see it like ancestor, C-E-S-T, ancestors, and in French, ancêtre. So it's also about, like, I think it was ancestre, and then it became ancêtre, probably because it was easier to pronounce it, but I don't know the exact reason, I was not born 4 or 5 centuries ago, but or 2 or 3 centuries ago when they changed. So ancêtre, it's also the normally the circumflex accent on top of the E. It's always like like ancêtre, champêtre. So is like the accent grave. E is accent aigu, and is accent grave. So, but here it's the circumflex accent, and it's like the e. And so ancestors, ancêtres. Then properties, propriété. So propriété and properties, I think both, in English also, properties could be also about the housing. So, but it's could also the characteristics, the properties. So the variables of something, like it was about the creeps, and I would say in English it could be also the benefits, bénéfice, or effects, effet. that's me in a nutshell, sharing some French vibes. So last but not least, I'm going to share the last bits, like mind, body, soul, spirit, and I added an S. I should bit. Mind, body, soul, spirit. Mind is esprit, body is corps, like corpus, corpora sana, you know. And then soul is âme. And I don't know the whole French of âme, because maybe there was an S, I don't know. But there is also Hist in German, I think. So I wouldn't be surprised that it's come like, but soul, âme. And in that case, particularism, the when where why they put the circumflex, the circumflex accent on top of the A, it's because to pronounce it like without it would be am, I think. And there is also some other words with a accent circumflex, like an, which is donkey. Um, uh, so am is soul, and then spirit is esprit. Esprit. And mind, I think it's more mental than esprit, but could be also esprit. Who knows? The subtleties. Then the last two words, the last word is orders, which is command. So command, it's like when you are taking an order, like when you are ordering a product in command. So that's it. Let me know if you have any question, any comments. I want to make it interactive. Else, thank you also for the replay team for watching. Thank you also, Jay, for being live. And last but not least, for the next 10, 15 minutes, I'm going to also share some words about the theme of today, because, it's really... so bear with me. Boom, 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 boom. I'm going to throw some words in French, and I'm going to explain them in English at some point. Boom, 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 boom. Da, 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 da. Well, I'm going to do that, and I will see. I will see. So here I'm going now to talk about some words in French. So death is mort in French, like mortis, mortifère, mortalité, mortality. Death is mort. Could be also décès. And then there is deuil, which is grief. And when you are grieving the loss of someone, could be also the loss of something, the loss of something within you, but most of the time it's about a person. Deuil. And then regret is regret. Then honte is shame. I didn't have any shame about Zebi. But sometimes there is a shame at some point, but it's honte, and the H is not pronouncing in French. Then there is culpability, which is a bit like guilt or culprit. And it could be like when you are doing something bad for society, but it could be also about yourself. about things, and it's really culprit, guilt. Guilt is linked with regrets, with regret. So in and itself, I don't feel guilt because I did all that I could do. But at the same time, I feel like I could have sent more messages in the past to Zebi to have check-ins because I was not aware about her illness. Yeah, so I could. It's always the case, when you are uh, having people in your life that matters to you, and at some point, some people you don't call them as much as you could have done that more often. And the last words are paradis, which is paradise or heaven, and Dieu, which is God. And one thing I would like to say is that I'm really a word user. I'm more and more paying attention about words, and words does have energy, mm, on the global scale, but also on the individual scale. There are words that are having uh, strong energy, and not positive or negative, but it's about perception. And more is one of that. And it could be more, could be a name, could be also so could be the state in itself, like the death, la mort, something that happens to each of us at some point in life. Of course, for me, as late as possible, would be happy if I leave this world in 40 years. But as the story told me, I can also leave this world in 4 years, 4 days, 4 hours. Hopefully not, but we never know when you are leaving this world, when we are leaving our vessel, our body. And so mort, M-O-R-T, could be a noun. In that case, if it's the death itself, it's la mort, it's feminine. But then there is also the dead person. And in that case, of course, if it's a man, it's le. If it's a woman, it's la. Le mort, la morte. And in that case, it's agreeing. It's a noun that is agreeing with the article. And then there is the adjective. For instance, il est mort. He is dead. Elle est morte. She is dead. And let me tell you that I don't like so much to say that. So, Jay, thank you so much. I'm a person who transitioned. Yeah, exactly. Defunto, defunta. Thank you so much for sharing. I was not thinking about that. I am going also to add, feel free also to join on stage if you can, if you will, if you choose so. You have the link in the LinkedIn. You have also the link on the link tree. And I'm going to add this in French. And it's a noun or an adjective. Défunt, défunte. And I want to stay with you, so I'm not going to search on my tablet the etymology and blah blah blah. Feel free to search on it. But it's like défunt, défunte. So thank you so much, Jay, for sharing that. Defunto. Defunto or defunta. So yeah, indeed. I don't want, by instance, to say Zebi est morte. I like, maybe because it's a poetry vibes within my heart, or because I wanna not use such a heavy word, that to say elle est morte, elle est décédée, like also deceased, décédée. I don't like that. I will say she spread her wings. And in that case, could be elle a déployé ses ailes. It's a bit like difficult to say because it's a research word. Déployer is like deploy, like and it means that she left her body. Like I can use also that, like she left her body. Elle a quitté son corps. Or elle a rejoint Dieu. She rejoined God. And the way that I say rejoined and not joined, it's because at the start we are with God. Of course, we are free. You are free to believe on God, Earth, Jesus, Krishna, whatever you name it, Mother Earth, universe. I am a believer. I'm not a Christian, but I believe in God and Jesus. And for me, it's like she rejoined God, or she came back to God, came back, and elle a rejoint Dieu. So thank you, Jay, for your shares. It really means a lot in my heart. Death is matai, heavy word, yeah, indeed. And is it heavy because it's something that is difficult, waving into our heart? Or is it heavy because we don't want to talk about that? You know, that's why I will be always grateful to witness few years ago when you were holding space on Saturdays with Jay and friends that I crave to see back, by the way, just a little wink. I crave to see Jay and friends back, even 15 minutes or 20 minutes per week, 2 or 1 hour. We don't need to have 2 or 3 hours, by the way. And it's not necessary to be on Saturday. So whenever you are ready, I'm really happy to help you to facilitate. And so it's really heavy because it's we and what I was saying is that I'm blessed that you were sharing that in your community when we are witnessing the passing of someone. We are not putting it like quickly on the white pool the under the carpet. We are taking weeks and weeks and weeks to witness. Like I think it was 9 weeks or 9 days, I don't know, but we are taking time. Nowadays, like the person is dead, left his body, and the body is quickly processed like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maximum days, and we don't really have time to really acknowledge the person, the life. You know, 5 days compared to thousands and thousands and thousands of days, sometimes 10 or 20 or 30,000 days. It's really little, 5 days. So grieving, as I'm really also happy to tag Mr. Hermy. He is also on grieving because he shares his story about Cameron, his son, who passed away at such a young age, at 13 years old. And that's why I connected with Mr. Dr. Hermy on that, because I lost my mom when I was 13 years old. So yeah, so as you say, Mr. J, it isn't very respectful to say Matai. Okay. So it will be the last time that I will express it. Thank you so much. And Hia Hululu. Okay. Hiza. Because friend, in French, I would say Jia Ululu in French. In English, I would say Jia or Jaya Hululu. And here you say the pronunciation as we should pronounce it. Jiza Hululu in heaven. Yeah, indeed. So paradise, heaven, paradis. And yeah, so thank you so much, Mr. J. And so I want to make some silence to honor the life of Zabi, who I was just aware about her presence in my life 2 to 3 years ago, and that I met last year in March and in October 2024, and even already in 2023, we were having some discussion. So that's a session that I wanted to make it happen, and to also bring some French words. And I will share also something vulnerable. I was reminding myself, it was back in the days I was having, I think it was my dad who decided at some point to have a year of subscription to a newspaper like Le Soir. And I received each day the newspaper, and each week, normally it's once a week, there was the necrology, which is in French necrology. And I was amazed about also the status. Some people were able to share like a full half page or full column with all the names, the the sons and daughters, the great sons and great daughters, the great grandsons, great daughters, uncle, cousin, whatever, sister, brothers, all the names, and some personal messages. And I was also amazed about the different formulation, because some were from Christianity, some Orthodox, some Muslim, some Hinduists, or whatever the religion was, and they used terms to express how they were passing away. It was not like, oh, they died by cancer. Sometimes it was expressed like that, but sometimes like not only like their death, but also they left her body, they were rising from their body to spirit, or they joined God, or the different formulations that was used to say that they passed away. So yeah, mourning, 9 days of mourning and prayer with the community. 9 days of mourning and prayer with immediate family. Yes, indeed. And also it was like more, sometimes more, uh, really longer in Africa. I don't know if it's still the case, but in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years ago, when there was not internet, communication was slow. And at some point it was like the celebration of the person passing away was 2, 3, 4, 6 months after their transition, because of the time needed to make the family gathering. Like all the people were joining from far distance village, like 4, 5, 600 kilometers, or and it was like not like at that time was not really the speed of the transport. And right now, when someone, whatever in the world, is passing away, especially someone that is famous, it takes few minutes, few less than 1 or 2 hours to be aware of someone's passing. But 50 years ago, it was like 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 10 days, and sometimes it was even the person was aware like months later, probably because the message was not going through. So what I will say to close this session, because I don't want to keep you hostage after 1 hour of this session, this is for paying homage, for paying tribute. Homage, in fact, in English is 1M, in French is 2M, but to pay tribute to a dear friend that I was not so much knowing. I was just passing 6 days of my life with her at her place and corresponding with her through WhatsApp and internet. And she sent me cream. She gave me the gift of her presence, of her passion, of her zeal, Zebi zeal, of her mission to heal the body, to find creams that was totally healing one individual. And I will always be blessed to have met her, because she was kind, she was sweet, soft, she was part of a community from Jamaica. She was giving me not only she gave me some books, also the books of the plants of Jamaica. She gave me the cream, some books. She gave me her heart, and she gave her heart to a work community. I'm pretty sure there are probably dozens and hundreds of people, especially in UK, London, but probably also all around the world, that was, is, and always will be impacted with her presence, her gifts, her care. And so I wanted to make this session for her. And to close the session, I'm going to sing probably not singing a song, because I'm not in the vibe of singing it, but to quote it. And it's really the truth. And it's a song from French, and I'm going to translate it in English later on, because it's really right now the song that I'm thinking about. Let me just check if I add parole, which is lyrics in French. And I'm going to share the screen. And thank you again for the people that are watching live on the replay. And as always, if you have any question for French, let me know. But this is really to pay tribute to Zabi. So here, normally you see my screen. I am still audible on LinkedIn. And I'm going to quote it in French and then translate it in English. Strophe by strophe, like paragraph by paragraph, so that you have a sense ultimately. And so it's aimons-nous vivants, which means in English, love. It's a we. Aimons-nous is like love us, love we alive. Aimons-nous vivants, love us alive. comme une envie de dire je t'aime, quand on est au bout de soi-même, quand il n'y a plus aucune raison de le cacher, comme une envie de rêver tout haut, te dire enfin les mots qu'il faut, les mots faciles qui ont le pouvoir de déranger. In English is as a need to say I love you. When we are at the end of ourselves, when there is no need to hide it, as a need to dream out loud, to say at least the words that are needed, the words that are required, the easy words that has the power to disturb. Et ce soir, je veux briser les ponts du silence, franchir le mur du son, le temps d'une chanson. And this evening, I want to break bridges of the silence, to reach the sound wall within a song. Aimons-nous vivants. N'attendons pas que la mort nous trouve du talent. Aimons-nous vivants. S'il faut danser, je veux danser maintenant. Love us alive. Don't us to wait that death finds us talent. Love us alive. If it needs to dance, I want to dance now. Aimons-nous vivants. Love us alive. Aimons-nous debout. Faisons la paix. Faisons l'amour entre nous. Aimons-nous surtout pour ne plus jamais, jamais vivre à genoux. Aimons-nous vivants. Love us standing up. Make us peace. Make us love between us. Love especially. Love each other's. Love us especially to never, never again live on our knees. Love us alive. Combien de larmes et de sourires, de mots qu'on n'a pas osé dire. Dieu, que le silence est une arme qui fait souffrir. Combien d'amour inavoué, combien de passions condamnées, au nom de ceux qui ne pourront jamais en mourir. How much tears and smiles, words that we didn't dare to say. God, that the silence is a weapon that causes suffering. How much love unexpressed. How much passions condemned. At the name of those that will never die for it. Mais ce soir, on va se dépasser. But this evening, we are going to overcome ourselves. To spread, to rise ourselves. Faire la fête au nom de l'amitié, simplement pour chanter. Having festivities, having fiesta, in the name of the friendship, simply for singing. Aimons-nous vivants, n'attendons pas que la mort nous trouve du talent. Aimons-nous vivants, s'il faut danser, je veux danser maintenant. Aimons-nous vivants. C'est vrai, on ne peut pas changer le monde, je sais, mais c'est bon d'y croire une seconde. Aimons-nous vivants, vivants maintenant. It's true, we cannot change the world, I know, but it's good to believe 1 second. Leave us, loving us alive. Alive now. Aimons-nous vivants. N'attendons pas que la mort nous trouve des talents. Aimons-nous vivants. S'il faut danser, je veux danser maintenant. Aimons-nous vivants. Aimons-nous debout. Faisons la paix. Faisons l'amour entre nous. Aimons-nous surtout pour ne plus jamais, jamais vivre à genoux. Aimons-nous vivants. That was my share in the tribute of Zebi, her life, and the fact that she joined God, she left her body, she spread her wings, she raised in power, rise in heaven. So that's the session. We are already at 65 minutes. And I'm not going to announce anything because it will be for tomorrow or the next days. But this day is a special day. And I wanted to make it fully. And if you have any question, as always, feel free to type in the chat in LinkedIn or in YouTube. I'm here to serve in French. I am a language igniter, coach, trainer. I'm also searching for any opportunity to serve more people. And I'm being out of my comfort zone more and more. It's not easy, but I'm doing my best because if I can leave this world in 40 years, I can also leave this world in 4 days. So it's never granted. So thank God that I'm still alive day after day. And sadly, some people are reaching God sooner than we think. And so thank you everyone for watching me. You are always welcome to connect with me, olivier@frenchholly.com or LinkedIn/in/odirix. This was a session for tribute to Zebi that I met in London last year. And I met also in Brussels. And next day will be another day. And what a blessing to be alive. Keep shining.